Episode 123. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We got Action Comics with Superman. We have a Rook from Ghost Machine. And we have Moon Knight from Marvel. Let's check them out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. Again, thank you for spending time with me. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as an independent filmmaker. Made some new contacts today, too, so keep my fingers crossed. Just finished a budget for a client, so let's see what happens next. I am writing a new horror movie, so maybe I can try to get that funded as well. But anyway, let's check out this stuff. But if you'd like to check out anything that I've written personally, you can see a couple of them behind me because I've written several novels from sci-fi to fantasy, and I've written my own comic books as well. You can find them in the links below in the description. Both on Amazon and DestinyRower.net, which is my sci-fi series, but you can find a bunch of other books on there as well, but that's just basically a store. And then on top of that, I do have Destiny Rower on Audible. All right, so you can check all that out. All right, so yeah, let's jump into Action Comics. This is the almost the last issue, second to last issue of the Brainiac House of Brainiac series. This is number 5 out of 6. This is by Joshua Williamson, who has just declared that he is leaving both Green Arrow and Batman and Robin. Those were the weakest of his work anyway, as far as I was concerned. He does a very good job on Superman. Better than we've seen, in many years. I'm not sure if he kind of rivals Dan Jurgens. Dan Jurgens is one of my favorite Superman writers. But, Joshua Williamson's doing a good job here. And he also did a good job on the Energon universe with Duke and Cobra Commander. I'm sorry he's kind of off that. But Green Arrow, he just didn't fit Green Arrow at all. It's unfortunate because you would think that with Duke and that they would kind of fit, but it didn't for whatever reason. But anyway, so Superman is now held captive. He basically gave himself up to Brainiac on his Skull ship, and Brainiac is creating this queen that's basically gonna, as we learn here, it is basically a Galactus of the DC universe, or that's how he describes it anyway. And Kalu, which is Brainiac's homeworld, is now sitting on top of this Skull ship, kind of like a crown. But he has a whole bunch of other shrunken cities that he's kept over the years because he collects knowledge. And on top of that, he's got the other Superman family members all shrunken down, except for Supergirl and Connor, who have escaped. But he was brought there by Lobo and his group of Zarnians that were then also basically resurrected from a shrunken city, and then he killed them all. So we start out with all of Lobo's people dead, and the queen there basically being hungry. She's just always hungry. But we get this nice little splash page where he explains that, she's going to eat everything up, nom, 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 like a big Pac-Man. And Lobo defies him, and Brainiac's like, there's nothing you can do. I've killed all of your people. Do you think you're going to be able to do anything? He's like, I can do something. I'm the main man, damn it. And he breaks Superman out. And he's like, I'll just do this. And then Brainiac's like, yeah, you can try, but it's not going to help anything. So we have this. I like that laser blast there, the heat vision blast from Superman. It's a really nice shot. The artwork is pretty good here. And so he reemerges Alina Luthor from being shrunken, and he hooks her into the ship to basically alleviate some of the pressure from his mind from all the data he's collecting and things to that effect. But of course, him linking her up to the ship is also going to kill her at the same time. But there's nothing she can do about it. But we get this nice little scene where she's kind of crying, but she has no control over her own body anymore. So Connor comes in, and as Superman is fighting the Queen, he tells Connor to go out and get as many of the shrunken cities as possible and save them. And Connor jumps into the floor there and creates a ripple effect which disconnects the Queen from her being nom 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 nom. So she is now basically inert, and Brainiac is now pissed and goes mano a mano with Superman. So we got this big fight scene going on, which is interesting, and then his family shows up, and we realize that he's just looking for love. He's just looking for acceptance and love. That's not the first thing I would think of for Brainiac, but okay. So Connor gets everybody else out of things, so he's reunited with the kids that he saved on World and everything like that. And then we have Luthor and Supergirl, and of course Superman's like, "What are you doing working with Brainiac? What are you thinking?" And he's like, "No, I wasn't. I was gaining information, and I have to get Lena out, so get off my back." So he puts on this really freaky helmet so that he can connect with Lena, and he can infiltrate Brainiac's mind, which is very interesting also. And he's like, "But I need you to buy me some time, and you need to fight everything that's coming at you so that they don't get to me, so I can save Lena." And they're like, "We can do that." So we have this battle going on while he's connected and to try to block tackle. And this is the first time that the backup story is actually part of the story, and I appreciate that because I hate this just random story. But it's about Lena and how Lex gave Lena up as a baby to Brainiac, and then when she came back, she was, I guess, very smart and things to that effect. I don't know. And then he has her living with his mother, which, I don't know, that sounds like a bad move to me. Her mother's not the nicest person. But after all that, we go into Brainiac's mind, and we see them battling inside the mind, and on the outside, they're literally like holding hands and stuff like that. So I thought that was all pretty good. So far, yeah, I don't know why, this wasn't out yet when, James Gunn was doing his, but this makes a really good movie. There's a lot of stakes right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. There would be a lot of characters to introduce. But overall, it's been a really good story, and I did read the Superman afterwards, but we'll talk about that on the next episode about how this ends up. All right, so let's jump into a Moon Knight. This is the connection to the event that's going on with Blood Hunt, of which I could give a crap less. Unfortunately, this all has to do with Blood Hunt. The only positive here is that we did not get a section of the book that has to do with one of the members going to the psychiatrist. That's the only thing I appreciate about this issue, is that we didn't do that. I was so over that, it's crazy. So anyway, we start with, the basic storyline is that the vampires are all running around. There's no sun, so they can run around willy-nilly. There's a guy here that's holed up, and the two vampires plus 8-Ball are kind of trying to sweep the city, and he's stuck in there. But when he finds out that they're vampires, he shoots through the door and almost hits Reese. And Soldier there tries to come to rescue, and she's like, no, we got to leave him in there, because if we start dragging people out, then we look like the bad guy, and we're already looking like the bad guy because we're vampires, so let's not do that. And there's no real story here at all. It's basically them in a night of the town, and they talk about, how Moon Knight saved her, and now he's dead, and they're going through a bunch of battles, etc. again, there's not a lot here. And then they get a visit from one of the major vampire clan guys. I like how she's got a heart there and is like drinking a straw. I don't know what the fuck going on there. That's the weirdest thing. But anyway, they get a visit from one of the other vampire guys, and it's a woman, actually. It looks like a guy because it looks like a manga or an anime character. But she says that she's building a area just for vampires, and they're like, well, we're gonna bring our people too, and they're like, no, just you two are the only people that are invited to this. And she's like, well, we can't do that. And she's like, well, whatever you want to do, that's the deal. And that basically this was for no reason whatsoever. It has absolutely no bearing on anything at this point, but that's that. And then Reese said, no, we're not leaving anyone behind. And she goes back to the guy that shot at her, and she talks through the door at him and says, you're going to have to trust me, blah, blah, blah. And finally the door opens and she says, let's get out of here. And there's something going on with the moon. They did it. That's all they said. Because, again, I'm not following it, so I have no idea what that means. They did it. They put the moon out. I don't know. They opened up the sky. Does that mean that the daytime that the sun's going to come out? I don't really care. I don't really care about the whole Blood Hunt thing. But this was a wasted issue for me because I'm not following it. I didn't want to break my run for Moon Knight. But I didn't need to get this book. And if you're not collecting Blood Hunt, there's no reason to do it. So make a good film or television show? No. This is just garbage. So I just didn't want to break my run. All right, so let's get into my pick of the week here because this Rook Exodus is a great book by Jeff Johns. The world building in here is phenomenal. So it's about a group of wardens, and wardens are people. They're on a different planet called Exodus, and they had a world builder, like a machine that created the atmosphere and the environment and etc. So they created it all with animals in mind, and you have these wardens that put on helmets that then can communicate with a certain type of animal. So each warden controls one animal, okay? One type of animal. I mean, all of them. So Rook controls birds. He controls all the birds. I don't know if it's just one species of birds. Right now it's just been like a crow-looking character, a crow-looking bird, but swine was like boars, and then you have direwolf that controls wolves, etc. And then we have this big bear guy that is basically collecting. His name is Ursaw, and he is collecting warden helmets and giving them to his disciples. And he controls huge bears, like gargantuan bears. So he's like killing them. So they're being hunted right now. So Direwolf and Rook are fleeing at this point to try to find help and to battle this guy. Meanwhile, Exodus, which I don't know why you'd call a planet Exodus, because Exodus literally means flee. A mass deportation or whatever. So, they are on a planet that is being destroyed, and so everybody else has already left. There's only a very small population on the planet because the world engine is gone. So the planet's going to be self-destructing. So Rook was creating a ship to get off, because only the rich people, I guess, were able to get off because they could afford ships. Everybody else was trying to build one. And he had built one, but then Ursaw came in and destroyed it. So, but anyway, that's where we're at. So they are literally fleeing from Ursaw. They find like this ferry boat, which I don't know how that thing's working. It doesn't look like it's worked in many years. But somehow they get it working. We don't actually find out how. They just get it working. And we have really amazing art by Fybach. And, she disconnects. Whenever you take the helmet off, you disconnect from the minds of the animals. So, and he's even like, look, they really want me to die, so meaning the birds, so that they can disconnect. And he's like, she's like, you're doing something wrong because, she's fine with them. And he's like, yeah, that one still looks hungry. So you get a little bit of humor in here, etc. But anyway, they're on the boat and she's driving. And they're going to go see Carapace, who is, I'm just going to call him Turtle Guy. So anyway, we get to this, look at that world building. So the turtles, they have like machines, some kind of transportation machines or houses on top of the turtle shells because they have gargantuan turtles. And yeah, the world building here is just amazing. But anyway, there's Turtle Guy. And we find out that Turtle Guy, nobody knows what he looks like underneath the armor because he's been in the armor so long because if he takes it off, he dies because he's so old. So it's almost being used as a sustainment system for him. But anyway, they open up the little gate for them, because, well, actually, I guess they're barricading them with the two turtles. But they do end up meeting with Carapace or Turtle Guy, and they tell him that they're being hunted by Ursaw, and we really need to connect with the other wardens so that they can try to warn them all and then meet up. So anyway, we get this really nice shot of the forest, but the trees are being destroyed because we have this thing called the Ark, which is being helmed by Ursaw. And look at that. That's just amazing, amazing works. We have ships running around it. This guy is, a warlord for the most part. And then I love the design work of here. Those are basically wires that all look like a tree. And I think that was really, really unique and imaginative. So they're going to hook into this thing so that they can try to connect to the other wardens. So we see some of the other wardens, and they, tell us about the locusts and the rams and the steeds and all these guys, the bunny guy, etc., the rat guy. They're all different wardens that have not been taken over yet. And he immediately removes his helmet, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "No, Ursaw's here, man. I saw it." And sure enough, he's here with the one he took from Swine, and I guess these other lackey is a snake. She has some kind of a snake thing, but you can see how big the bears are behind him and stuff like that. So really, really amazing stuff. The world building on that is amazing, amazing. So let's do a recap real quick. So Rook Exodus, I would love to see this as a movie. I don't know where this is going yet, but the world building alone it would be a very expensive movie. But it's awesome. Moon Knight with the connection to Blood Hunt, nah, it's nothing there. And Action Comics. Yeah, this has been great. House of Brainiac has been really good, and then it's going to tie up just as well when I do the review on that one. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to give me a like. Give me that thumbs up. I am trying to grow the channel out, so if you can give me a subscribe, ring that bell, ding, ding. It would be greatly appreciated, and it's free. Why not? My voice can't be that bad to hear. Anyway, if you'd like to check out some of my other books and graphic novels, the link below is in the description. There's a couple there. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Check out some of my other videos as well from my movie reviews or past comic reviews as well. All right, have a good one, guys. All right, bye-bye.